Crimson Trace announces Laser Guard Pro for today's most popular concealed carry firearms, combining a red or green laser sight with 150 lumen light, taking personal defense to the next level. Available now at your local dealer.
Welcome to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, where there's more to talk about than shooting. There's reloading and hunting and self-defense, too.
All right, back with you, Tom Gresham, 866-TALK-GUN. If there's something on your mind, we're open lines right now. If you got a gun you want to tell me about, a gun you want to ask me about, think about buying something, question for you. If you were advising someone, and a lot of the folks who listen to Gun Talk are kind of the advisors. People ask you questions about guns, right? When somebody asks you about what gun should I get for self-defense, and we get those all the time, what caliber do you generally tell them to get? Because you're considered, you're the gun guy, you're the gun gal. What do you tell them? There's a lot of different types of guns and models of guns and brands of guns and all the rest of it. But when it comes to a defensive gun, handgun specifically, what's your go-to? What do you tell people? And here's an interesting question. Is it the same one that you have? Or do you have one handgun caliber that you carry or have for home defense, and then suggest a different one? And if so, why? 866-TALK-GUN. I mentioned briefly the Kavanaugh hearings, the sideshow, the circus, the Kabuki Theater this past week. I have on my personal Facebook page, not the Gun Talk Facebook page, because the Gun Talk Facebook page is where you should go to find out what we're doing. But I just mentioned something to a few friends because it's not a public deal. It's just some friends. And I said, the hearings did something that I didn't think was possible, at least for me. And we're talking about the incredible rhetoric, the horrific treatment of Judge Kavanaugh by the Democratic Party leaders. And I said, they took me from someone who somewhat prefers one party over the other to someone who absolutely hates one party. And that wasn't easy to do because I'm not a person who hates, generally speaking. But I freely admit that I tend to have a Boy Scout type attitude on a lot of things. I was a Boy Scout. I was raised that way. Thrifty, obedient, kind, cheerful, all the rest of it. You treat people with respect, even if you don't agree with them. If you disagree with them, you still treat people with respect. You don't go out of your way to denigrate people. You certainly don't lie, cheat, and steal. So an awful lot of lying going on. The holding on to a letter, weaponizing the letter, releasing it at the time to do maximum damage, pretending that you actually care about the hearings when you've already announced to the world that it doesn't matter who they nominate, we're going to oppose it, him or her. The willingness to harm others. And I'm going to expand on this for a second here because I want people to go, yeah, but. No, there's no yeah, but. This is the same party. This is why I have arrived at the position where I am. For the rest of my life, I will oppose the Democratic Party. There's no such thing as I'm going to vote for somebody because that's a good person regardless of party. Because voting for a Democrat now means supporting the scorched earth policy. I'm going to say something, and I hope you will stay with me long enough to understand what I'm talking about. They're willing to do everything and anything, including kill people, to get their agenda. What did I just say? You heard me. They are willing to do anything up to and including killing people to advance their political agenda. Case in point. Randy Weaver was suspected of not paying a $200 tax, but it was a gun tax. As a result, they killed his wife, they killed his son. At Waco, 73 people were shot and burned to death because supposedly they didn't pay a $200 firearms tax. But let's go further than that with the Obama administration. The Fast and Furious program was instituted and created and implemented as a way to push gun control in this country. The thinking was, and they said, we need something we can point to so that we can get more gun control laws passed. We can't get them passed. The Obama administration, Obama was in the White House, but the Republicans controlled Congress. They said, what we need is to be able to point to American guns being used in Mexico in crime. And then we could say, we need to do something here to save the people of Mexico from crime with guns. They were told, well, if you do this gun running program, if you make sure that semi-automatic firearms are sold illegally and taken into Mexico by the thousands, people will die, including probably American law enforcement officers. And the response was, well, if you're going to make an omelet, you have to break a few eggs. In other words, yeah, we know people are going to die, but at least we'll get our gun control program put forward. That's the Democratic Party. We'll kill you if it advances our agenda. We're okay with that. I don't know why it took me this long to get here, because a lot of people say, well, welcome to the party. I get it. Yeah, by the way, those Fast and Furious guns, they're still killing people. The Eric Holder guns are still out there being used to kill people by the narco-terrorists. So anyway, that's where I ended up on the deal. And it is a Second Amendment issue because the opposition to Judge Kavanaugh comes down to two things: Roe v. Wade and the Second Amendment. That's it. That's what's going on. Make no mistake, that's what is at the heart of this whole thing. They know how he's going to rule on the Second Amendment. They know he's going to support the Heller decision. They know he's going to support the, gun rights. And that's why we have the assassination, character assassination, and in everything other than physical assassination. By the way, you haven't seen people on the right out there trying to kill people, threatening people. Google up Steve Scalise. See what I'm talking about there. Tell you what, take a quick break. I've got Ron, I've got Bob on hold here. We're going to get to you. We also have room for you if you'd like to join us. We have an open line, 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back with more gun talk.
Maximize your firepower and accuracy with Remington's new Model 1911 R1 Limited Double Stack. Up to 19+1 double stack capacity, so you can spend more time shooting and less time loading. Next level accuracy and handling with a 5-inch ramped match-grade barrel and adjustable match-grade trigger for greater precision. Learn more at Remington.com/handguns. The new Remington Model 1911 R1 Limited Double Stack. Welcome to a new era at Remington.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at ShopGunTalk.com. Get prepared. ShopGunTalk.com.
All the refinements in Smith & Wesson's M&P M2.0 pistol series shrunk to a perfect carry size in the new compact version. 4-inch barrel, light crisp M2.0 trigger, aggressively textured grip for enhanced control, 4 interchangeable palm swell inserts, 2 magazines, lifetime service policy, 15-round 9mm mag, 13-round 40 mag. The M&P M2.0 compact pistol. More at smith-wesson.com.
For more than 70 years, Timney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime, setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Timney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at timneytriggers.com.
Back with the 866 Talk Gun. Get you in here. Line 2. Ron's with us out of Elko, Nevada. Hello, Ron. You're on Gun Talk.
Yeah. I've been listening to your Kavanaugh stuff. I've been hearing that pretty good. But they ought to be checking that girl's bank account. I bet you bribed into it. Besides that, that's not what I really called for.
Okay.
I'll let you know everybody ought to have a Henry 45 lever action.
Oh, yeah? Tell me about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, it just comes out of the box shooting straight.
Now, yours is, which model do you have?
I got Yellow Boy.
In 45 Colt? It's in 45 Colt?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How long you had it?
Because it shoots same as my handgun does.
How long you had that rifle?
Oh, about a year. And this
what? Why?
Not.
Yeah. Why'd you get it in the first place?
I don't know, I've always liked the Henry anyway, but and the main thing, I love the logo.
Well, you probably like me. You grew up with Westerns.
Oh, yeah, I even write them.
You write Westerns?
Yeah, I do.
All right, cool.
I got one being published right now.
Well, that's cool. So how often do you get to shoot your rifle?
Oh, maybe right now I drive taxis, so I'm pretty busy, so. But I get out there about once on average, once a month.
That's not bad.
On average. But I usually a little more if I can.
Very good. Well, I do not disagree with you. I think everybody ought to have a lever-action rifle, and Henry makes a wide variety of them, and everybody who gets them loves them. Man, they've got them in all these different calibers and different models, and it's just kind of crazy. Every time I look at their website, there's another, and I'm going, holy cow, when did that come out? It's pretty cool stuff.
Well, I got it because it shoots the same as my, I got a Colt 45 single action.
Yeah.
So it shoots the same ammunition, and I like that.
Right.
And I don't have to put up with any of that. But now I always have me and my buddy, but we reload ours.
Very good. Hey, Ron, I appreciate the call, sir. Look, I got to keep running. We got Bob in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's on line 1. Hey, Bob, you're on Gun Talk. What's going on here?
I've got a question for you. Just recently went through a divorce. I'm a collector, let's just say that, and I bought all my guns through an FFL. I filled out that worksheet for the NICS background check. I know what a straw purchase is. Those are my firearms. Do they become community property once I purchase the firearms? Because when she took off with several of those firearms.
If you are in a community property state, they do become community property. Yes, they do.
Okay, well, I'm not quite sure what Oklahoma is, but I'll be able to look that up.
Probably are. That's pretty. Yeah. Did you get the ones that you wanted?
She got a few that I had worked over, but I mean, improved upon by our gunsmith. Anyway,
right.
I want to buy my ammunition from a place Hollywood buys their ammunition. Watching the show the other day. Prior to 38 special, it went off. She went like, oh, my God, I couldn't believe it was real. And then she dropped it, and the doggone thing went off again. She hadn't cycled the cylinder around to the next chamber. So I went like, wow, that's a 2-for special right there. Love Hollywood.
Okay, here's the deal. I saw somebody the other day. You've seen people who have a swear jar. They put it out there, and every time they swear, they're like supposed to put a nickel in it or something like that. I think the way for us to actually pay for our retirement is every time we see a firearms mistake in a movie or on TV, we put a buck in there. I think we are going to be fixed up in retirement, man.
I agree with you. The last time I had to do a swear jar was when I was becoming an NRA instructor. All the time when I was in the military, it was a weapon, weapon, weapon. When I went through that NRA class, every time I called it a weapon, I had to throw $1 in that swear jar because it's not. Yeah, I had to break some habits.
Well, that's true. The other thing I found is that some of my buddies who have been military firearms instructors, especially work with Special Forces, when they start working with civilians, they really have to tone down the swear words because it's like they said, yeah, but when we're talking with 19 to 21-year-old knuckleheads, we have to swear at them sometimes just to get their attention.
Gotcha. Well, it's good talking with you, Tom. I appreciate you. You got to
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's divorces are messy. And that's an interesting question. When you buy a gun, you are purchasing it for you. It's not a straw purchase. It's for you. But then now it belongs to you, but it becomes community property like a car or anything else you have purchased. And divorces get messy. And that's a whole other world. It's hard for us to even edge into that one. I mentioned going out and doing a little shooting last week. We did a little shooting. I can't tell you about that one. But I did shoot. Hold on a second. I shot my revolver and had a bunch of fun with that. Did you see the news? I think I put it out last week on Twitter. I did. About Ruger has a new model of their AR-15 and 450 Bushmaster. I'm thinking that's a serious big game rifle. 450 Bushmaster, probably a really honest 200-yard gun, shooting a big bullet with lots of energy. Average AR-15 single stack, not double stack on the mag. But that's a heck of a tool. In fact, speaking of 450 Bushmaster, David is joining us right now on one out of Medford, Oregon. Hey, David, talk to me about the 450 Bushmaster. Hey, David, you there? Oh, okay. And David went away. I was going to try to get some background. He's shooting the 450. The 450 Bushmaster is a shoot 250, 260 grain bullet at about 2,200, maybe 2,300 feet per second. It's interesting. One of the things about it to know is it's not a high pressure cartridge. Okay. But at the same time, you don't want to load it up heavier than the factory loads because it has a lot of force coming back on the bolt face. And I don't know, I'd have to talk to a ballistician on that. It may be because it is a fatter case, and so that pressure is exerting a lot more force back. So you end up with, if you were to say, okay, well, gee, it's not loaded to a real high pressure, I know it will handle more than that. There's more than just the pressure involved in this, and it's the pressure that's going back on the bolt face. I think we got David back at this point out of Medford. Hey, David, you there?
I am here. Do you hear me?
I got you. We were talking about 450 Bushmaster. Do you have one?
Actually, two. One DPMS version and one Ruger Ranch rifle.
Nice.
The reason I bought the very first one I got was the Ranch rifle, and I got it because as I started doing my homework on it, I realized it shoots 452 diameter bullets, which is the 45 ACP diameter. And I load that with Trail Boss, and I can duplicate the 45 long Colt, 45 auto, and I can take it all the way up to the full 450 Bushmaster, and it is stunningly accurate.
So you're loading handgun bullets in your 450 Bushmaster?
Well, the 450 Bushmaster uses 452 diameter bullets, vice the 458 rifle bullets.
Right.
It is way the heck cheaper to shoot.
Okay.
And I don't have feed problems, so it's like, well, if it feeds, if it shoots, shoot it.
Now,
it's considerably cheaper.
Will those operate your DPMS? Will they actually function the semi-auto?
The light loads, no. If I load heavier powder charges, similar to what would be in that flex tip expanding bullet that Hornady uses,
right.
Yes, sir, it will.
Now, the flex tip expanding bullet, that's the one I was looking at and thinking that's pretty much makes that a serious hunting round, doesn't it?
Very serious. And in both my rifles, I'm getting, my Ruger Ranch, I'm getting sub-MOA out of the factory ammo
out to 130 yards for sure. I've pushed it out to 200, but I'm getting enough. The drop is more of a parabola rather than a linear drop.
Well, you want to sight that in probably, I'm thinking 3 inches high at 100, and it's dropping fast. You're probably going to be in the 5 to 6 inches low at 200. How's that for a guess?
It's actually considerably more than that. I think at 100 I dropped about 10 inches low at 200. If I zero for about $1.50 though, I get a decent above and a decent point blank range load.
Okay.
And I don't know that I would shoot it beyond 200 at anything but varmints, coyotes, things like that. But it is, like I said, at 100 yards, it's stunningly accurate. I have a couple of friends who have shot it, and they're just amazed.
Now, have you taken any animals with it?
No, I have. Well, I take that back with my ranch rifle. I went out squirrel hunting with it. But that was just because I had it with me, and I own some property over in Eastern Oregon. I had it with me, and I had a bunch of those 45 Hornady action pistol bullets loaded in it.
Right.
And the rodents are rather thick out on the desert where I'm at, and so one of them had the misfortune of standing straight up like a bowling pin, and then immediately folded in half. So I was like,
all right,
I said, it's stunning.
One other question, real quick. How's the recoil with a full load on the 450 Bushmaster?
It's stout in the DPMS gun. It's not too bad. I would consider it very similar to what a 243 in a bolt gun in the DPMS gun, and in my bolt gun ranch rifle, it feels more like a 308.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Well, I appreciate that. That's a great range report on the 450 Bushmaster. I predict that is going to become a very popular caliber. I think people are right now not paying much attention to it, and I think it's going to catch on as people start looking at the ballistics and what it does and the cool guns it's available in. Like I said, the new Ruger AR is available in that as well. 866 Talk Gun. What's your range report? What have you been shooting?
Click of her stiletto heels coming down the hall. And I caught her perfume before she opened the door to my office. And she stood there looking like $1,000,000 tax-free. I want to talk to you, she said. Come back later, I said. I'm listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk right now.
Imagine the panic that sweeps over this dad. He's working late. He gets this alert on his smartphone. His Blink camera, security camera, picks up something. He opens the app on his phone, views a video clip of a man peering through his kitchen window. He calls 911, and he tells his wife. He alerts his wife. Well, that's what the whole thing's about. That's what Blink is about, preventing situations like that. The point of having a home security system is to alert you before somebody breaks into your home, not after. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up in minutes, and run on batteries that last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed portion lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions. Oh, yeah, Blink works with Alexa. So here's the deal. Get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys charge, plus an extra 15% off because you're a Gun Talk listener. Visit blinkprotect.com/guntalk. blinkprotect.com/guntalk. Blink is an Amazon company. 866 Talk Gun gets you in here. Hold on a second. I want to get this story up because this was important. This was new technology. Yeah, an AI camera that can spot guns and alert law enforcement. The company says it's 99% accurate. Athena Security has developed a camera system that uses artificial intelligence and cloud technology to spot guns and alert authorities. It says it can spot weapons and notify the police. It just notifies the police whenever there's a gun. course, the question becomes, and obviously, I mean, it depends on where you're installing it. What do you do if it's a good guy with a gun? Now, people say, well, we're only going to install those where guns are prohibited. Well, yeah, maybe. But what if it's a store installs that? And it's not illegal to carry in the store, but this thing starts to alert police every time somebody with a legal gun comes in. I sometimes think that a lot of folks who do these things, who produce these systems, who would buy these systems, don't understand that there are close to 20 million of us who carry guns for self-protection, men and women. And I wonder if they really have thought through what happens when they start getting these false alerts and calling the police on people who are licensed to carry a gun, or in a lot of states, you don't even have to have a license to legally carry a gun. I don't know. I would like to know what the company thinks, if they have even thought about this, if they have addressed that. Just kind of curious. What are your thoughts on that? Let's go to line 4. Charles is with us out of Big Spring, Texas. Hey, Charles, what you looking for here?
Well, you asked about what gun I would recommend if someone was asking about what gun they would carry for self-protection. Mm-hmm. I've always recommended the 5-shot revolver, either a Chief Special, Smith & Wesson, or something similar to that. Mm-hmm. It's a fail-safe. If you get it in your hand and you squeeze it, it's going to go off. You don't have to worry about, is it on safety, not on safety, or is it cocked or not cocked, or whatever.
Right.
And I think it's a good gun for a beginner. People that are experienced with guns wouldn't be asking our advice anyhow.
All right, let me play devil's advocate for you. I think snub-nose revolvers are harder to shoot accurately, and particularly with heavy loads, they kick a lot.
Well, that's true. I qualified I was a parole officer, and we had to qualify with every gun that we might carry.
Right. And
it was a little harder to qualify with that short barrel, but I did. And the only reason I quit carrying it was because of the limited capacity.
Right.
But if you're, like I said, somebody who's inexperienced and in the beginning, most likely would, as they became more familiar, might want to graduate up to something else. Mm-hmm. But these little guns hold their value. You can't.
That's true.
You can either trade up or keep it for a backup, or and they conceal well. Carry it in your pocket, or
I don't think it's a bad idea. I was kind of playing devil's advocate. I would maybe add 2 things to that. And one would be, if you could find one in the 327 Federal chambering, you can get these really light loads for practice, and then the full house loads are actually quite a bit more powerful than a 38 Special. The other would be, and I think this may be the game changer, Charles, and I ask you what you think of this, is getting one of these smaller revolvers with a laser on it. What do you think?
I just been reading about those. That would be great, I think. But for most of the time, in what we're talking about, a self-protection or hand or combat situation, accuracy is not going to be the biggest problem.
I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of videos of police emptying their sidearms at somebody who's about 7 feet away and missing him. So I think accuracy is kind of important.
Where did they go through training?
I hear you.
They didn't go. I went through at the middle of the police department academy. They let a bunch of us parole officers go through.
Oh, yeah?
And they treated us just like we were rookies coming in, and they said, you'll do it our way or you won't, or we'll wash you out. It's like we would have I couldn't have qualified on their course with this short barrel.
That's the whole thing, is it? But you know, and the challenge of the short barrel is two things, actually. It's the sight radius is so short, but also the trigger pull is so heavy. And we have newer revolvers now that have better triggers, and when you stick a laser on there, now you're not relying on the little short sight radius and the iron sights. And I will tell you, I have made the equivalent of what would be a headshot at 25 yards repeatedly with a snub-nose revolver with a laser on it. It's just amazing what a game changer that is. Charles, I appreciate the call, sir. Good information and good thoughts. Quick break here. Joe, don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you. If you'd like to join us, 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham, and this is Gun Talk.
The pistol that redefines pocket carry just got even better. The Ruger LCP2 has improved sights, an easy-to-rack slide, a larger textured grip surface for a secure grip and recoil reduction, and a short, crisp, single-action trigger pull for real-world accuracy. It's so small and light that there's no reason to ever leave home without your LCP2. A serious pistol in a pint-sized package. Learn more about the LCP2 at Ruger.com.
Since 1937, Ducks Unlimited has led the charge on wetlands and waterfowl conservation. Wetlands reduce the effects of flooding and recharge our drinking water, but perhaps most importantly, they allow us to experience what makes the outdoors so great. Band together to rescue our wetlands.
Tired of searching the web for the best deals on guns, ammunition, and gear? Download the free Gun Dealio app today for deals and discounts right at your fingertips. Handguns, rifles, shotguns, ammo, optics, lasers, gun safes, targets, gun cleaners, grips, slings, and much, much more. Save money on products you want from the companies you love. New deals, discounts, and rebates added daily. Gun Dealio, available for free in the App Store and Google Play.
Back with you here. Let's see. Line 3, Joe's with us out of Sparks, Nevada. Hello, Joe. You're on Gun Talk.
Hey, Tom. Greetings, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I just wanted, you were talking about practicing at home, dry fire, and so forth. And
right.
Let me preface this with something that I, well over 25 years of action pistol shooting, USPSA, IPSC, and now I shoot IDPA. Okay. So I've shot more than a couple dry fires in the house.
Right.
Anyways, I was at a gun show, saw this training system, and it caught my attention. And I thought, I'm going to check into that when I get home. Mm-hmm. It's called iTarget Pro. And what it is a kit that comes, and it takes a little bit to wrap your head around this, and I actually had to get one before I could. Mm-hmm. It's a sled, and the sled holds an 8.5 by 11 target, and it has a cradle for your iPhone or for your smartphone.
Okay.
And they also give you one of these laser bullets. Same type of thing. You put the bullet in the gun,
right,
and it shoots a laser beam.
Gotcha.
Anyways, you focus the camera on the target, and then when you shoot the target, your phone registers the shot. And here's the really cool part, is you mirror your phone to your TV, and you can see what you're shooting.
Okay, so I'm looking at the website now, iTarget Pro. So you got the target, then you put your smartphone with the camera on the smartphone pointing at the target. Then when the laser hits the target, they must have an app that's on your phone, right?
Yes, the app is free, and then they have a couple others you can purchase. They have one for doing draws as well. It's timed for a draw the same way you time a draw with
All right,
a timer.
So here's the deal. A lot of times I hear people talk about this stuff, and they're brand new into shooting, that they think this is cool and all that, and I honestly don't give that a lot of credence. In your case, because you have sent thousands and thousands of rounds downrange, what's your take on this?
If it didn't work, it would have went in the box the next day and went back.
Okay.
It is amazing. Here's the really best part about it is I get up an extra half hour before I go to a shooting match and do some dry firing. So when I get to the match, I'm not coming out of the holster cold.
And you're using the same gun you're going to use in the match.
Exactly. And here's just as a side note, I will get this thing going, and I will literally sit there and dry fire till my left thumb is raw from cocking the gun.
So it's addictive is what you're telling me.
Yeah. So with a single action gun, something you would normally have to cock, you actually have to cock the gun.
Right.
They do make the laser shells, 380 9mm, 38 special, 45, 40 caliber, and 223.
Pretty slick. Okay, iTarget Pro. That's a good range report. I appreciate that, Joe. If you look at it, you can find it, just iTarget Pro. Let's see. Tony's in Tulsa, Oklahoma on line 2. Hey, Tony, you made it on to Gun Talk.
Well, thank you very much. I had a question about a P365 versus a Walther CCP Model 2. I don't get to shoot a lot and don't want to spend money on a gun that may have problems. I'm hearing a lot of things about the P365 that I don't know whether are true or not, and I was wondering what your thoughts were.
Well, let's see. How can I put this? I carry a P365 to protect myself and my family.
Okay, so you haven't had any of the problems with the, I guess, what is it, a transfer bar that's breaking on it?
I have not had any problems. I hear, these reports of them. I haven't run into anybody who's had it personally. That's not to say it's not happening, because, clearly, when you start hearing reports, I'm not concerned, but I think it's something to keep listening to and paying attention to. I guess the real question comes down to, what gun do you want? If you were going to choose between these two, is there one that you want better?
Well, I've not at the same time put both of them in my hand to feel the difference. I've at different times held both of them. They ergonomically they both seem to fit my hand really well. And push come to shove, I'd rather have a 10+1 than an 8+1.
Right.
But that's why I was calling somebody who may be a little bit more unbiased than a gun store owner that.
Here's the other problem, is that I'm not completely unbiased because, I know the people who make the guns. And so it's kind of like they're my friends. The other part of it is I'm not your average guy because I carry a lot of different guns because of the nature of the work of what I do. I may be carrying a P365. Yesterday I was carrying, I'm thinking back, yesterday I was carrying a Springfield XDM 3.8 9mm. It's kind of like, I'm not sure I'm the best guy to ask sometimes. Maybe in one way I am because I try all these different guns. But the other thing is, I do it the wrong way. You should pick a gun and carry it all the time. Any given time, I'm probably 2 to 4 weeks into carrying a gun and then switching to something else because there's something new some manufacturer wants me to try. It's like not the best situation. It's kind of fun. I get to try different guns. So I'll tell you, I guess what the bottom line is, I end up saying, find a gun that you like. I am not married to one or the other. Everybody's making good guns. Find something that fits your hand that, and you may look at, the thing is, you may look at the P365 and go, man, that's little. That's really little. And it is. It's really little. It's crazy little to have the capacity it has. As you go up in size, guns get easier to shoot. And I like shooting big guns. I like carrying small guns. I know what I need. I need an expandable gun. That's it. It carries small, and then when you pull it out, it gets... No, I guess that's not going to work. Oh, well, it was an idea. Can't blame me for trying. 866-TALK-GUN. What do you carry, and how did you decide that was the thing to use to protect your life? last segment here, so we're going to go fast. Ken is with us on line 4 out of Milton, Florida. Ken, you're up, please. Go ahead.
My recommendation for the self-defense handgun would be the 9mm. I actually carry the Taurus PT-111. It's got a 12-round mag, and I've actually recommended it to some people, and they've bought the same exact gun, and they love it.
All right.
The 9mm, the recoil isn't so bad for females that they can shoot it accurately and without fearing the recoil. And it's a whole lot easier to reload if you need to by just dropping a mag, slapping another mag in it, hitting the release, and you're ready to go.
Okay.
Now, my caveat to any semi-automatic is you have to clean your weapon regularly. Anytime you shoot it, you got to clean it. And if you haven't shot it in several weeks, you still need to break it down and clean it.
Yep, I agree with you.
But then I have thank you. And then I've got a quick question for you,
Sure.
For your thought. I've got my better half is 5 foot nothing, 100 pounds. My home defense weapon, I've got a 12-gauge pump Remington shotgun sitting there.
Right.
Way too big for her, way too powerful for her. I'm in the process. I'm fixing to buy a 410 pump shotgun for home defense because I can shoot it one-handed. She can shoot it without, any issues, but I'm going to get a youth model. What is your thought on the home defense for a tiny woman?
Don't get a 410.
Don't like guns.
Don't get a 410. Get a 20 gauge. There are light recoil 20 gauge loads. Get a youth model 20 gauge. They actually have tactical home defense versions of it. They've got some great 20 gauge loads. The recoil is much less than a 12, but the effectiveness of a 20 gauge is so much more and better than a 410. The loads are so much better. The 410 is a suggestion of defense, whereas a 20 gauge is a real defensive gun. I would strongly urge you to consider going with a 20 gauge as opposed to a 410.
That's what I'll do then. I appreciate your comments, and I enjoy your show.
Thank you,
and
sir.
I'll let you go.
All right, got to go quick. Austin, Waco, line 3. Austin, I got 1 minute. Go.
Okay, so my dad's a hunter. He's not a shooter. I left him with my MSR 300 Blackout. I found 223 rounds, which we don't own 223, and I found 223 in the 300 Blackout.
Right. He shot it?
Yes, he said he shot it.
Okay. You're not going to harm the rifle. It's going to be fine. Obviously, his accuracy is going to be somewhat less than it should be because that bullet is rattling down the barrel. Now, if he had gone the other way, it becomes dangerous. It is possible in some rigs to shoot a 300 Blackout in a 223, and that is dangerous. It can blow up a gun. But in this case, all he did was shoot some loads that he didn't hit anything, and it's okay, and the gun's fine. It's not a big deal.
Okay, I left him some 300 Blackout.
Good. And tell him, if you would, mark the magazine, special mags for the 300 Blackout with like blue tape or something, and make sure he understands, I don't know if he has a 223 rifle, but what you don't want to do is shoot 300. Okay, if he doesn't have the 223, he's okay. Give him some ammo. All right, you did fine. It's all good. No worries here. No harm, no foul. I appreciate the call. Yeah, don't shoot a 300 Blackout in a 223, but if you do shoot a 223 and a 300 Blackout, it's just going to be really inaccurate. The bullets are going to tumble and nothing terrible is going to happen other than you're not going to hit anything, okay? All right, it's time for you to get involved in the after show. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you. If you would like to be part of the after show, come on down, 866-TALK-GUN. If you've never heard the after show, shame on you. You got to download it or even use your Gun Dealio smartphone app, and you can listen to all of the Gun Talk shows that you've missed, including the after show. So give us a holler right now, 866-TALK-GUN. In the meantime, go out and do some shooting this week. Be safe. Always carry, check your 6, love your family.